Oh my God.
I know. It's Marvel season. It's superhero season, actually.
Yeah, no. Batman v Superman, Dong of Justin is coming out this March.
As much as I despise everything that movie appears to be
Let's
doing,
let's
but
let,
that's a
let's not
different
get in,
conversation. That's a different conversation.
let's not get into that. But it's coming out this March, right?
Oh yeah, that's
And
in like
so
what, 14 days somewhere in there.
right, and so Marvel was like, "Yo, you know what's coming out in May?" It's like, damn, Marvel, like
Well,
you
to be
gotta.
fair, Batman versus Superman had its first real trailer after Civil War's first trailer.
You right, you right.
So DC was like, "Damn, Marvel's got a trailer. Shit, throw them together."
Right, like put Batman in there
Wonder
actually.
Woman,
Anyway,
fuck it, why not?
um so I would like to talk very, very briefly about some of my personal
We
annoyances.
should
With
probably introduce ourselves first.
yes, we
Hey,
should.
we
Oh
are
my
the
God.
Bias Holes. Specifically, I'm
Woo!
Jackson.
I'm Jacob. The J team. Oh shit, John. Shit, John
Oh,
exists.
well, John's not here, so we're
Okay.
not the full J team. We're OJ,
We're
original J team.
OJ. Not,
Yeah,
not
OJ,
like
like the
okay.
juice.
Well, I was
I
thinking OJ
understand.
Simpson.
I understand. I don't care, but I understand.
Okay.
Anyway, we are going to be discussing Civil War today, Captain America 3, the new Captain America movie, because earlier this general time of recording, the new trailer 2, hit, and we wanted to do a quick video on it because we think that we're the two biggest Marvel people in the channel right now.
The fanboys, if you will.
Especially after Trevor stated his opinion on comic book movies on the last
he does.
podcast.
Here's the thing. He doesn't feel that way. He just doesn't know he doesn't feel that way yet. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Anyway, yeah. So I think we want to state if you consider trailer spoilers, we will be spoiling this.
We'll be spoiling actually a lot of things because we've both heard things through other sources of stuff that will be in the movie that could be considered spoiler territory. So if you really do not want to be spoiled on this movie, which I don't know why, it's a superhero movie, I don't think it matters that much, then I would suggest clicking out and not watching this and
So
being the
if
lame,
you
miserable person you are.
if you want to go in blind, don't watch this. But I don't understand why you clicked on this video if you wanted to go in blind. But you have been warned.
Most likely, people didn't click on this video. But anyway,
They
uh,
will. They don't know they will, but they will.
I do have a weird thing where it's like people do not want Marvel movies to be spoiled or comic book movies in general, but for whatever reason, I view those as really hard to spoil because people have such high expectations based on the source material
Hmm.
that they kind of have their own idea of what's going to happen anyway. I've never cared about spoilers for Marvel movies, and I don't understand where the audience that does care about them came
Well,
from.
it's not just that. It's like it blows my mind when people are like, "Show us Spider-Man, show us Spider-Man, show us Spider-Man." I was in that category, and they showed us Spider-Man, and a ton of people started nitpicking it, and then being like, "Why did you spoil Spider-Man?" It's like, oh
Well,
my
because
God.
there was an as loud a voice as there was to be shown Spider-Man, there was an equally loud voice that was saying, "It's better to not show us until the movie comes up."
Here's the, we need to get in this, but before we do, let me just say, if you consider trailer spoilers, that's I guess that like I just can't wrap my mind like that's the thing that
Here's the
the
thing, there are
official
trailers that have
people
been known to spoil literally the entire plots of movies.
right, but like that's the fault of the trailer. Like trailers are an art form, and if they reveal too much, like that's the fault of the trailer. Like
Yes, but
yeah,
people can avoid that by expecting every trailer to be bad and then avoiding them. Undoubtedly, stuff's going to be given away in any trailer, no matter what. It's just if that stuff is super important to the plot or not.
okay, okay, okay. We this is a discussion for another time. I'm getting way too worked up.
I can
Let's
tell your blood. I can feel your blood pressure rising through the microphone.
overall, what was your impression?
My
Because mine
impression
is
is
just
that
excitement.
okay, so I don't usually get too stoked up for movies. I wasn't really too stoked up, but for whatever reason, my hype has been building for Civil War for a long time now. Since the
Hmm.
first trailer, even when Star Wars was coming out and people were going like, "Oh my God, Star Wars!" I'm like, "Okay, Star Wars," but Civil War's new trailer, right? I was the person who just didn't care too much about Star Wars. I didn't care if I got spoiled, which I did end up getting spoiled, but it was whatever. Star Wars was a good movie. It's just I feel like Marvel's done so much to replace the void in my heart that the prequels put in me.
Yeah,
As
no,
far as
it's
just
it's
having a continuous universe that I can always come back to through these movies and watch it evolve.
yeah, it's definitely weird to me that this is Captain America 3, but it feels like the next
It
Avengers.
feels like that, but thanks to the Russo brothers, they have said very specifically that the goal of this movie is to finish Bucky's story arc. And so they've had to center it a lot on
Hmm.
Captain America, which will ultimately prove to be a good thing in making it a Captain America title. And even the trailers have proven, I think, that it's not really an Avengers title. It's a Captain America title featuring the Avengers.
Hmm.
Like
What
that's the sense I've gotten from it.
right.
Although then Robert Downey
Uh
Jr. then goes and calls it, oh, it's basically Iron Man 4 for me.
well, like, yeah, if anything, if Winter Soldier was any indication, this movie will be great. If Iron Man 3 was any indication, this movie will be great. What's also interesting to
Are you
me
saying
is
that
that
simply because any movie could be better than Iron Man 3 according to some people?
no, I liked Iron Man 3.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think you know that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Um,
for me, Iron Man 3 is in my top 3 Marvel films. So, a
right,
lot a
but
lot of
but
people would say I'm wrong about that, but it's their fault,
but it's also
not
it's
mine.
also very funny to me that I mean I think Crossbones it was showed up in the trailer. Like there's not really a villain. Like I
Here's the
I kind of like
thing.
that the conflict is a villain.
Yeah, Crossbones is hinted at so much, but I don't think we've officially seen him in more than 2 shots in the trailer, which
Hmm.
is amazing because while he's been confirmed to be part of the movie, he's still being kept a relative secret to people who may not be watching it with such a keen eye.
Hmm.
They may just see it on TV and they're like, "Oh, this is cool," or they'll see it in a theater and like, "Oh, this is even cooler."
Well, I gotta ask, how kick-ass was it to see Hawkeye fire an arrow
With Ant-Man,
with
that's
Ant-Man on
this has
it?
been one of my dream team ups, and I'm
Right.
so glad it's happening. Also against
Hmm.
Iron Man. I think
Right, of
that this
course.
trailer 2 did what disappointed me about trailer 1. It fixed that because
Hmm.
if you don't know, Hawkeye's like possibly my favorite, barring Age of Ultron, just
Hmm.
because he's a normal guy thrust into this situation. You could argue the same for Black Widow, but she's been trained since she was a tiny little babby to do this stuff, instead of
Hmm.
Hawkeye, who's just like normal kid, just really good with a bow and arrow.
Hmm.
Anyway, I was so excited to see that because I've also really liked Ant-Man. Ant-Man, I recently rewatched it. Great,
Hmm.
fantastic movie. It's like they did Iron
Oh yeah.
Man 1 again, but they did it better, as in
Hmm.
the ending fight finale did not feel forced upon the plot.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely a lot of memorable shots in this trailer. It's like, number one, I'm real worried about War Machine.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I mean that's been hinted at, but to actually see it happen and still not know where it comes from, that's just
hmm.
building up so much tension that's finally gonna end up being relieved at the movie.
Hmm. And
There's a lot of theories going on right now that it involves Scarlet Witch controlling Vision in a misfire. And it could
mm,
well be. It did look like one of the blasts that Vision has done, but I've never seen him do anything more than a continuous beam. And that's not
hmm.
what this looked like. So it could well be something else.
Right. And I do realize it's a jump cut, but right before we see that shot of War Machine being taken down in this trailer, we see a shot of Bucky Barnes looking down a scope. Now I do realize that's a
Which
jump
is
cut.
mostly because it's indoors and he's carrying an M4 rifle.
Right. But maybe possible foreshadowing. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Probably am.
I mean,
But
it's possible it's foreshadowing. It's also possible that it's foreshadowing misdirection.
hmm. What's also really impressive, speaking of Scarlet Witch, is that little shot where she's controlling Vision.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that it's not controlling so much as holding him down. And it kind of shows that
right.
Scarlet
Well,
Witch is coming into her own. That's one of the things I've been excited about since they killed off Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. I've been interested to see how her character is going to work without this foil that supposedly she's had all her life, although as far as we're concerned, he didn't matter that much.
yeah, no. It's I kind of like seeing a hero like Vision being subdued. He's kind of like Superman, where he has so many powers. It's like how is
I
he
mean, Vision's
gonna?
essentially an infinity gem. We have
Right.
to remember that. He's the power
Right.
of an infinity gem put into a human being that's also part vibranium.
Mhm. Definitely a lot more emotion in this trailer. than a lot of the others. God, that wide shot of seeing all the heroes running each other is just so kick ass.
Oh yeah, oh
You
yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited about it.
Also, I want to talk about another primary shot as well, where you see, I think I've spoken about it before, but you see Robert Downey Jr.'s acting chops in about like a half of a second, where I believe you've seen this, where Tony Stark has like sort of an Iron Man bracelet gauntlet type thing,
Oh
where it
yeah.
covers his hand, like a finger's glove. He's in some hand-to-hand combat with Bucky
Not
Barnes,
really
the Winter
hand-to-hand
Soldier.
combat so much as just taking a shot.
Right, a struggle. And so at one point he covers the
Oh yeah, he covers the pistol, the
right.
barrel with that glove and blocks the
And
shot.
then
Although I'm
and then
curious
Bucky
to see what that scene comes out of because it looks like something else is going on and Tony intervenes.
right, but also the best part of that scene, um and I've heard this talked about a little by other people, but not too much, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s face, right? Because there's a moment where the shot goes off and he's covering the front of the gun, and it's almost like he was subduing some sort of conflict, and the shot went off in his face and he realized Bucky was willing to kill him, right?
Yeah,
And
there's
this
kind of like
look
that
in his
moment of,
eyes
oh,
just sends chills down my spine, just chills. It's so good.
I was just wondering what the hell kind of sunglasses. They looked really weird.
Yeah, I know, they're super cool. I want a pair.
You want everything.
I do want everything.
I just want more Hawkeye in my life. Okay?
I say while wielding Mjolnir.
Okay, I'll be completely honest. I'm probably going to be disappointed on like Hawkeye merchandise for this film, but goddamn, do I want more?
Well, I mean Hawkeye and Black Widow always get the short end of the stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're the normal people, and plus they now have Black Panther to promote and SpiderMan and all of these other characters.
And Scarlet Witch, yeah. But Black Panther looks great.
Black Panther looks great, and I've heard Chadwick Boseman. I've kind of done a little bit of brushing up, and he looks like a good actor for the part. But we actually, in Civil War's trailer 2, we actually see Black Panther in action. Previously, he's just either been standing around or running around. But we see him kind of jump and pretty much kill
Take out the motorcycle.
kill the back tire of Bucky's motorcycle and cause that to wreck.
Yeah, and we also one of my other favorite scenes, or the million favorite scenes I have from these trailers,
Oh yeah.
is Black Panther is fighting Bucky Barnes, and a helicopter pulls up and just starts shooting at Black Panther.
And Black
And
Panther
Bucky Barnes
just like kind of looks at it.
yeah, he's like, "What's up?" And the helicopter's like, "Yo, stop beating up Bucky Barnes."
I'm wondering if that's the same helicopter from trailer 1 that Steve is holding back with just his bare fists.
Oh, that could be. That very well could be. Black Panther, low key, one of the richest characters in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, just simply from the value of vibranium.
Oh yeah. So characters you're looking forward to seeing and interacting. Definitely Ant-Man and Hawkeye.
Definitely Ant-Man and Hawkeye. I am very much looking forward to see how specifically Falcon, Bucky, and Captain America get along because Bucky's kind of like the past sidekick and Falcon's the present sidekick, and I want to see them fight over Cap so much, just passive aggressively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a breakup movie.
It's a love triangle.
Oh, something I totally skipped over was that one of the things that a lot
To
of
be
people
fair, we're
complain
not
about
tackling anything chronologically. We're just talking
right.
whatever comes to mind. So skipping over is
Right.
not a thing here.
At the very beginning of the trailer, I'm going to shoot over to Superman, the film, where a lot of people's complaint was there was too much destruction.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like you can have a superhero movie without taking down, a city, just a lot of wreckage,
Yep.
And then in this movie, you see at the beginning there's this montage that they're showing Captain America of all the destruction in New York during the first
However,
event.
I actually was mildly bothered because somebody stated a body count for the 3 conflicts that are pointed out, Washington, D.C., and somebody said it was like Washington, D.C. was as low as 23 people. An entire building collapsed. I'm sorry, but that does not kill just 23 people.
Yeah.
And New York was only into the 70s, and somebody said Sokovia was the highest with 100. That's not... I refuse to believe that that's the body count. Maybe for Sokovia, because the Avengers worked really hard, but I would think there's only like... what, there was 9 of them at the time. They can only cover so much ground. I
Right.
assume the body counts for those are much higher, otherwise they would not be making that big a deal out of them.
Oh yeah, and not just that. I think this trailer shows one of the great strength of Marvel films, especially the Avengers films like Age of Ultron and the first Avengers, which is that they have destruction in them, but it's peppered in left and right. You know what I mean? The
It's more
danger.
reasonable, and it
Yes,
kind
and
of
well,
makes
not
it
just that.
actually, it actually uses it as shock value. I don't want to say
Right. Well,
shock value, but they use it without just spreading it everywhere they can.
Well, right, yeah, no, and the magnitude of it is definitely downplayed but not ignored. And then you see in this trailer, it's like, oh yeah, they do actually are able to show quite a bit of that without taking away from the story. Whereas something like Superman, it kind of just it's part of it consumes the plot, and it takes a lot of attention away from the characters. And this trailer shows like, oh yeah, Marvel's able to do that, but in a more reasonable way.
Right, it kind of highlights all the destruction that
Yeah,
most
yeah,
people
yeah,
weren't bothered by, but
yeah.
actually did happen. I would say that it's pretty reasonable. I would think the only 2 places that are getting blown up are a UN embassy, which seems to be what sparks off the whole plot involving Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're talking, it's clearly based on trailer 1, a UN place, a United Nations meeting place, and
Mm-hmm.
it's supposedly in wherever the desert area is. That it's not necessarily desert, but the place that's using kind of the more browner, more red-orange tones for the lighting
Mm-hmm.
choice for that location. So I just
Mm-hmm.
say desert because that's what comes to mind. It seems to be what sparks off the plot and where Bucky is found, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Bucky's being framed for stuff that he's clearly not committed, but people think he's
Or he
committed.
has, but he's not that person anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's also the theory that like Hydra still has programming in
Oh,
him,
that's
which
true.
is what leads to him shooting at Tony.
Ah.
Like these are just theories I read around. I do
Mhm.
want to touch on something that's super spoilery to some
Okay.
people. To others, it's just kind of like, man, whatever. This was actually unveiled via the biggest Lego set for the Civil War line. It's
Okay.
Ant-Man can become Giant Man.
Oh yeah. Ant-Man
So
can grow both ways. Can shrink and grow.
yeah, well, he was unable to grow in the first movie other than back to normal
Mhm.
size, but
Mhm.
somehow I think that they tinker with the regulator and he will become Giant Man at some point during the airport battle.
I
Which
would
seems
be
to be
so
the only
down
other
for
place
that.
that will get any real destruction put on it.
Hmm.
Anything else looks either abandoned or low population, easy to evacuate.
Hmm. Speaking of I'm trying to segue and I'm failing.
Spoilery stuff. Spider-Man's costume.
Yeah. Holy shit.
First of all, I was honestly not expecting them to unveil Spider-Man at all. I would have preferred not seeing his costume. But that was under the assumption that they were actually going to have a costume that I liked the appearance of.
Yeah. I was definitely like J. Jonah Jameson, just desperately wanting pictures of Spider-Man. But like watching the trailer, the Civil War thing comes up. I'm like, oh, I guess that's it. And then it comes back, and you see Iron Man say something, and then the webs come down, and Cap's shield goes up, and his hands are web tied. It's like, oh shit! Like it's like this
It's
is
a
it.
cool reveal. The only thing that kills me
Yes.
about it is that his costume looks like they plucked the Spider-Man out of the sitting here masturbating meme and dropped him in this movie with no changes made whatsoever. And I
Right.
can't get
Well,
past it. It looks like something out of the early 70s, late 60s. I can't...
Well, I mean, they had to distinguish themselves from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man
I
and from the
think
Tobey
that
Maguire
Andrew
Spider-Man.
Garfield Spider-Man worked fine and could have been quote-unquote put into...
Yes, yes. Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
But it's like, I'm
Don't
fine
even.
with them recasting Spider-Man. I'm fine with them changing
I'm
up the
not.
costume design. I'm not fine with this costume.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a throwback.
But it's
I
too far of a throwback, and it kind of kills the tone that Marvel's been setting with all of the costume design in the past few movies for Phase 2. Because
I
it's all
agree.
been grounded in realism, and this looks like, A, a CGI hunk of garbage, and B, it doesn't look like it fits thematically with the rest of the costume design in the Marvels movies.
Well, can we just say though, I do think the costume could potentially have its issues, right? Can we just say though, the dilation of Spider-Man's eyes is the coolest fucking shit you've ever seen?
No, that's my least favorite part of it.
What? Oh my. Okay.
Why
Did
why
you
does it need to happen? He's never
did,
needed that before. It's like
uh
supposedly it's quote unquote zooming in or polarizing. It's like he's supposed to just have lenses. This is homemade. This is not homemade. This is clearly like he's had help from somebody. He didn't make this in fucking self.
while I agree that
It's like they did it right with Deadpool's CGI eyes, where it was
I was
used
just
to
gonna mention that.
express emotion. This, they tried to make it have function, and that is not okay, because Spider-Man's eyes were fine without it, and the fact that it quote-unquote needed it bothers me on a fundamental level.
On one hand, I agree with you that I do want this Spider-Man to be nerdy and quirky and
I
have
never
a
said that. I
well,
never
well, yeah,
said that. I honestly think that the idea of Spider-Man is something that could not work if it were introduced today, simply because the nerd stereotype does not exist in a school setting anymore.
wait, what does that mean?
That means that nerds as they're portrayed in 1960s don't exist today, and people who complain about modern adaptations not fitting are wrong and are stuck in a time where they can't believe in realism. That's why I think Andrew Garfield nailed it, and that's why one of the biggest complaints about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man are what I think were one of its biggest strengths, which is it modernized it in a realistic way. You're gonna
So
keep
while I
saying,
do
so while I agree with you, I disagree with you. That's what you keep
let
doing.
me finish my goddamn sentence, tell me.
All right.
While I agree that Spider-Man's costume should look organic and homemade,
Okay.
I love when characters that don't necessarily have traditional eyes are animated so that they can have dynamic expressions. I think the costume may pose some issues. I think I'll need to wait to see it in more action. I'll need to see Tom Holland's acting capabilities. But I personally think it looks pretty darn good. I think they could have gone a way, far. They could have far modernized it. You know what I mean? And I would have. I don't think I would have liked that.
If I had my say in it, they would have gone to Sony, raided the prop department, and just stolen the
Yes.
costume from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and had been
Yes.
done with it. Because the eyes were
Yeah.
expressive enough that all they had to do was be angled to get an expression out of him.
You know what? You right. They should have done that. I agree with you on that one. They should have just taken. They should have just gotten Andrew Garfield and just brought him with his suits and had him do this. In fact, I think when the movie comes out, I'm going to edit a version where it's entirely just Andrew Garfield in Tom Holland's place.
That'll
No
be
hate to
quite
Tom
literally
Holland.
impossible, but okay.
Hey, technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's fun. So basically, to sum up our thoughts, while you're okay with the new Spider-Man costume to an extent, we both agree that it could have been done much better. Personally, I think the CGI eyes, especially the fact that they're trying to rationalize them by including that sound effect as if they have a function, really just, they bother me to an extent that I can't see past.
Uh, uh, I think we both agree that they should have just went to Sony and stolen the
I wouldn't care if Tom
the
Holland were
costume.
still cast.
No, neither would
just,
I. I make
I
jokes
just,
about it, but I think it'll be okay.
I just think that they needed to have a suit that fit in more with the costume design from current Marvel. Not this goofy piece of garbage that looks like something out of the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, I'll have to see it against all the other characters' outfits. I think
The one
right now,
thing I did like
standalone-
about it is that it has a functional utility belt, because that's been covered in the past that Spider-Man needs a utility belt in the comics, but it's never been addressed in the movies.
Wait, does he?
He does to hold extra cartridges of web fluid in case he runs out in the
Aha.
shooter.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Hopefully, they'll go with the route of he builds his own web shooters rather than them being built into his wrists.
Oh yeah.
Like with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Well, we don't discuss the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man here. Somebody
No, that
on
never
Reddit
happened.
chastised me for criticizing the moving eyes and said, "You don't know what they're for." And I'm like, I can say that they look stupid without knowing what they're for.
Yeah,
Thanks, Reddit. You're all fucking stupid.
We did it, Reddit. We did it.
Reddit's just for angry nerds who don't like to talk about things in a negative light.
I think most of quite a bit of it is that way.
So anyway, final thoughts. I think Civil War is shaping up to be much bigger than Batman v Superman, personally, just based on advertising versus what I hear. Because from what I've seen, the advertising for Batman v Superman is only getting sloppier.
I am excited about them both, but in different ways.
Right.
It's sort of like children. I can love both of my children that I don't have equally, but differently.
Much like Gordon Freeman here, I'd rather just shoot all children in my way.
Oh, God.
Gordon Freeman, if you open up the Half-Life 1 menu, he just looks like he's a serial killer holding the shotgun that way.
So much like War Machine, I think we're just about done here.
Oh, God. Yep, so this has been us talking about our thoughts on the Civil War trailers and all sorts of stuff. And
Definitely both excited.
do you think we'll reconvene and do a quick addendum if they ever release a trailer 3 or once the movie
If they
comes
do
out?
another trailer, we are definitely going to talk about it. Yeah, they definitely will. There's way too much time until May for them not
Yeah,
to
it's
do
got a good
another
like
trailer.
2 months. So, all right, we will talk to you later. Wait,
Bye.
no, make a better intro than me.
You want to do an intro right now?
No, not intro, outro.
Oh, oh, fuck, God damn it. Um, language. I don't know. Thank you all for listening. Let us know your thoughts on the Captain America Civil War trailer in the comments, and make sure to hit that like button because we like you guys.
And subscribe.
We're
We're very lonely.
If you want to keep in touch with the next trailer and you want to hear our thoughts on it, go ahead and click that button.
This outro's gone on way too long. We'll see you guys
Well,
around.
bye. Get it. Bye.
Peace out.